Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center on this Tuesday night. We're tracking a couple strong to severe storms in South Georgia, and the reason we're coming on really is because of the one there toward parts of Brooks and Lowndes counties. So we want to go ahead and get folks inside away from windows around Valdosta. We posted about the warning earlier around Quitman, and we ended up getting some damage here. Actually, instead of what it was issued for more about the hail, we ended up having wind damage there around Quitman. So now you see this for wind and hail potential here until about 11:45 as several trees were knocked down by this severe thunderstorm. Again, we're expecting winds maybe over 60 with that, but or even 60, maybe closer to that 50 or less range. But instead, we ended up getting winds that could have been a little bit higher there. And now we're seeing a situation toward I-75 and Valdosta where there's more population density of some concern. So let's go ahead and kind of zoom in here on some of our different systems. I know we're watching this very carefully. I'm hoping this will be a pretty short cut in because we still have our formal update here later on tonight. We're still getting things finalized here for that here as we look later on in the timeline. So it's going to be pushed back a little bit there after midnight when we give you that full forecast. But we just needed to come on because this situation here does look like it poses a hazard for parts of Valdosta, the north side of Valdosta here, with a storm with a history of producing some damage, just in case it were to kind of refire. I'm kind of hoping it'll fade. I know we didn't have any formal risk here tonight for this area. We had a little bit of a risk there, 1 out of 5 for Miriam, but that was dropped, and this really is just kind of popping on up in the story, though, in that formal update as you look later on, will be about just several days of severe threats for our area. The other night, we were supposed to kind of remain relatively calm here based on our model guidance, but that's not the case here in South Georgia with this nasty storm. It's just there as we're looking in toward areas of Brooks County for the time being around, it looks like Troopville Highway, also over toward County Road 16. Now starting to approach State Route 133. May have some hail and some gusty winds in there. And again, this will probably be more on the north side of Valdosta here. So just got to be kind of careful in toward this region as we look at some of our different modes. They're not all that impressive. It was showing a little more impressive earlier on, but again, the population density here just didn't want to take any chances around Valdosta here. I-75 exit 16, Bremerton, Blue Springs, I-75 exit 22 in Kinderloh here. So I know you saw maybe on social media the damage earlier from Lake County in Florida. Just so significant down there with that destructive hailstorm moving on through, some strong winds as well. Now this isn't going to be to that level, but we have our logo red now for just days and days of severe threats. And again, this is a little bit early here based on what we were looking at. We thought might get stuff in our southern counties, but not really in the Georgia counties here tonight based on the latest indications. But this is the other storm that's strong here. That's not severe. We thought it might get a warning. Jacksonville office in charge of it, but no warning at this point required. It doesn't seem as things are just under severe limits based on some of these radar echoes. But just northeast of Needmore, or excuse me, north of Needmore and northwest of Fargo is where we're really tracking some of this action here at the present time. So again, a situation we're just continuing to follow, continue to give you guys the latest on as things do progress here in toward that timeline. So just trying to look at some of our modes that actually show some wind energy, but back it up a little bit, so maybe a little bit more even. I'll try to load some more frames here in the previous volume scan. And we see it actually look like it's pretty close to needing a warning there about 25-30 minutes ago. I mean, these wind numbers are showing up there close to 60, but it's in a pretty rural zone. I'll be maybe not surprised though if we get a damage report or two out of that area. But we'll go ahead and go back off toward the west now. You see a little bit of a storm there on Hahira, maybe some small hail there, but this is where the bigger concern is. But I'm not seeing a whole bunch right now on our wind mode, so that's some good news. But still be around Valdosta, make sure you're inside and away from windows there in toward that area around Lowndes County. So I know that's a really highly populated area, so we just wanted to make sure with the history of this producing damage that you weren't caught off guard there. But I suspect they may drop this warning here early. We're now getting an advisory being issued. That access for the other storm there, portions of Berry and Cook and Lowndes until about midnight. So that's something that's kind of intriguing to see. But again, the formal risk is not there tonight. You can see it's just going to be a general thunderstorm. And actually, that's very unusual here. Actually, that damage occurred outside of the general thunderstorm risk even. So That's very odd to see. I normally don't have a situation like that where we don't end up having even a thunderstorm risk where there's severe thunderstorm damage. Even in the summer, you're going to have a thunderstorm risk. So definitely unusual. We did post about it. That was about 10:45 or so. That's where we were seeing some of the damage being reported. So again, we're being told right now a storm near Hahira has some radar indication of small hail and perhaps gusty winds as the core collapses. So they're going to stick that one with a special weather statement for the time being. The National Weather Service in Tallahassee there. So we'll just continue to look. I know the hail cores seem to be coming down here on these. This one now toward the east toward areas there in the Jacksonville jurisdiction off there around Echols County, Clinton counties. I was showing a little bit bigger hail core a little bit earlier on, but this one out here was showing some hail, but again, it ended up producing wind damage. The area out there around Quitman and Brooks County, unfortunately, getting reports there of several trees being knocked down across Quitman. So, again, it's going to be a pattern we got to be really alert for all the way through Monday morning. Yeah, it's Tuesday night, folks. On and off through next Monday. We are going to have a chance of strong to severe storms here at times across the region. So you want to tune into a full update here. It'll probably be at this point, probably somewhere at least after midnight, maybe closer to 12:30 by the time we have that formal update here ready to go, because we have some different things we need to touch on. But I'll probably wrap this up pretty soon. The trends stay the same, but we just wanted to give you guys the heads up there around Valdosta, looking there in Lowndes County. Again, it seems like it's lost some of its veracity, some of its vigorousness, if that's kind of a good way to word things here. So let's just go ahead and kind of, that is, if you see around Quitman, it was pretty strong, but we weren't necessarily getting just an overwhelming wind signature. There was one there, though, as we kind of go back in time. I mean, there's your warning, and then, I mean, some of those reports here may be coming from the opposite side even. I got to wonder if some of those reports coming on the east side of town, because I must have had some rotation there develop for a bit, but the warning wasn't for a wind, so we were looking more for hail, but ended up being about the wind there. Patrick Road, US 84 there with some damage being reported in that general vicinity. As they're telling us here in the chat that the severe storm west of Valdosta is weakening, and if the trend continues, they may be able to cancel the warning early. So that'll be good news. It was just kind of a quick pulse up here of the action, but it was enough to do damage there in Brooks County this evening. So there is some instability that pull up our surface-based key values. Again, 900 joules per kilogram or so now. But we'll go back in time a little bit here. I know it'll jump. You can just see just a little bit ago, we were over 1,000 there. So just enough of that energy around we had, and still do have some of that supercell composite. Not much in the way of tornado parameters, and we're not even expecting much of that tomorrow, but there is going to be a hail risk and a wind risk, especially for parts of north central Florida. I'm talking about Stark, Gainesville, Ocala here on that Wednesday, so you'll want to tune in for that formal update here. But I actually have a graphic. I should have that here in our system. I might be able to pop it up here. We have some of our graphics ready to go, but that formal update will have even more information here for you guys. But while we're on here, I'll go ahead and tease it if we can. We'll switch to our graphic source in just about 30 seconds or so. As we're going to kind of go into our show here and try to pull that up, since it is already ready to go. It's just gotta be put on the actual screen source here itself. But again, just gotta be aware here of that potential as we look ahead into the timeline. We just want you guys to be watching the situation here as it does progress here later on, because things could get kind of nasty. We just want you guys to make sure you're staying tuned for the very latest. I mean, you don't want your guard down and then you have something bad happen. So, again, that's so important to kind of be looking out for here in these type of scenarios. So, again, you see that yellow box for now, but that box will probably drop off here pretty soon. They're going to probably cancel the warning early. And I may go ahead and wrap it up here before they cancel, that they might beat me to it here. Wouldn't be surprised, since we're going to be punching that graphic up here in just a second. So, just kind of keep it tuned here. But a storm has lost some of its intensity here pretty quickly, which is some good news, obviously, for the viewers out there at home. So, again, and they are canceling that now. They have just sent out the cancellation statement. That's what we like to hear, folks. That's what we like to hear, them canceling the warning out now. But, of course, we cover our 62 counties, and we'll make sure we give you the latest whether we come on or just post about it. You have an automated account there as well. So just some different information is being streamed on out to the viewers at home. So you know what's kind of going on here in the overall scenario. So again, let's see here. Just again, you see where we were at with Brooks and Lowndes. Brooks and Lowndes here, just over the last little bit. It's been watching this potential for sure. But as we look ahead into Ward Wednesday now, you'll kind of see what we're anticipating here. And you see there's an interest out toward Dallas and Waco. That's going to be a big national story, maybe even a tornado threat there. We'll see. But logo is red because we're going to have just days of severe potential here in the local level on and off. So you see Wednesday there, that slight risk includes Stark, Gainesville, areas there close to Palatka as well, and Ocala. So that can mean hail, that can mean wind there. And then on Thursday, our western areas are under that margin of risk. But I'd be not surprised, Roy. I would not be surprised where I'm trying to go with that in terms of that being expanded eastward, because I'm seeing some pretty high rain chances for that Thursday, which you'll see in that formal update here, probably about an hour or so, maybe a little bit less. But we still got to finalize a few things. We had to kind of jump on here in the middle of all that to give you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. But the warning's gone. The other storm doesn't look as strong either. So that's the good news. Just got to make sure everybody's okay after some of that damage there around equipment, and then seeing that potential transit out to Valdosta. But that's falling apart here at this point. But we'll keep you guys advised.